welcome back. Um, I thought I'd switch things up really quick just because I had to talk about this, and I've just been enjoying this season despite what other ones say. So grab your coffee, grab your tea, your ice matcha, whatever you're sipping on today, because we are going to be doing a little something different. So if you watch Love Island, it's one of my guilty pleasures, you already know this season has been full of like twist and heartbreak and like messy conversations. I've talked about it on my other platforms. There's been like unexpected couples and enough red flags to like decorate a beach. So instead of talking about who should have picked who or who was wrong in every situation, because we all know who it is, it's very obvious. I want to talk about what this season really actually teaches us about dating in real life. Um, the Villa may not be reality TV, but it is a reflection of what the dating world is like. We're going to talk about emotions and how real they were this season. And we've all been with a person who we shouldn't have ignored the red flags. So we're going to be talking about that. And we've all hoped someone would change. And you could see that on this season too. So we're going to be talking about that. We've all questioned whether someone genuinely liked us. So let's unpack the biggest dating lessons this season gave us and how we can apply that in our real lives. So stay tuned. Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to Joy Serendipity. If you're new here, definitely subscribe. You won't regret it. Hey, welcome back. Now, the season's not over. I mean, it's getting close to it, but there's been so much to unpack throughout the whole season that it's really hard not to like set aside some time to talk. So, the first thing I would say is chemistry is not the same as compatibility. One thing this season has taught me and reminded me of is not to confuse attraction with compatibility. You can have all the butterflies in the world, right? You can have so much flirtation and stay up all night talking and have incredible chemistry, but that does not equate to compatibility. Compatibility is about values and communication, and it's about conflict resolution. And also, a key one is emotional maturity, but you also need those shared goals as well. How someone treats you when things aren't easy is very important. Real relationships aren't built on exciting moments alone. They're built on consistency. If someone makes your heart race but also makes you question where you stand every week, that's not compatibility, that's emotional instability. And you see that a lot with, let me give an example of people I don't think that are compatible. So Anaya and Casey were not compatible. They had different goals. That is a whole lesson on its own that I've talked about on my platform. Sincere and Melanie are not compatible at all. He has a lot of growing up to do, especially when it comes to emotional maturity. She needs to stop seeing his potential, which I will be speaking on in another video. Those two aren't compatible. You know what? Are there really any people who are compatible? Okay, Anaya and Carl, yeah, I would say they're compatible. Trinity and Bryce, I say they are. It's just really, they don't give them a lot of screen time, so it's really kind of hard to decipher. So I would say those two as well. Um, Friendship wise, Kata, Trinity, Melanie, compatible. But moving on. Lesson two of what we learn or learning from this season is that you need to believe people's actions, not their words. They can read you a whole bunch of nonsense and a whole bunch of, oh my goodness, this is how I feel about you and this and that or whatever, and their actions completely not match. One thing I've noticed over this season is people would say exactly what their partner wanted to hear, especially Sincere when it came to Melanie. He knew he was about to lose her, so he's like, what can I tell this woman to keep her addicted to what I'm not giving her? You know what I'm saying? His words basically told a completely different story, and honestly, this also happens outside of the villa every single day. Words, they do matter, but the actions create trust. If someone says they're interested, are their actions matching if they're interested. If they say they want commitment, are they acting committed? Because they can say all of that, it could sound so good, but yeah. If they say they value communication and they don't communicate, they go ghost, they stay silent, whatever, during hard conversations, it doesn't mean anything. Healthy love shouldn't require detective work, and you shouldn't have to decode mixed signals. Consistency is so attractive and can get you so far. So, that's another lesson the villa is teaching us. Another one I would say is stop falling in love with potential, which is a lesson we all learned either the hard way or from observing others. Yeah, we need to talk about this though, because every season someone says, I know they can change or in some sort of form, or I see the good in them, or they just need time. And maybe they do. But relationships exist in reality, not possibility. And dating someone's potential often leads to disappointment because you're loving the version that you imagine them in instead of who's standing in front of you. People can grow for sure, but they have to choose growth for themselves. You cannot love someone into becoming emotionally available. And that's something I learned the hard way and still learn sometimes. Because I just see so much. Like, I literally have a long message from my ex explaining, like, I saw so much in him that he didn't see in himself. Regretted. Lesson 4 for me from this season, I would say, is your friends can see things you can't. Now, this is a tough one because Anaya is pissing me off. She sees that Melanie and Sincere aren't like a match, but she wants Melanie to stay, or she's either living vicariously through Melanie, who's dating Sincere, that she's telling Melanie, oh, you guys are good, I'm team Sincere, this and that. Melanie does not need to be with Sincere. Sincere has a lot of growing up to do. Trinity sees people for who they are. She'll call it out, but at some point you get tired of talking. You get so tired of talking. One of my favorite parts on the show is watching the friendships. I love Trinity and Kata, and I love Melanie. Sometimes the Islanders notice red flags before the person dating them does, and you saw that a lot of that just in the first few episodes. Is it always perfect advice though when they talk to them? No. But it reminded me how valuable outside perspective can be. When we're emotionally attached, we naturally overlook things. And that's why it's so important to have friends who love you enough to tell you the truth. Not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. Choose friends who protect your peace, not your delusions. I know that hurts sometimes. Also, it is super important for, your friend to do it in a healthy and caring way, not in a harsh way. Brutally honest people often focus on the brutality and not, the honesty part. Another lesson I learned is emotional maturity is so attractive. There's maybe 1 or 2 people that emotionally mature on this season, and I would say it's Carl. Men-wise, I would say it's Carl, and I would say it's Bryce, to an extent. The emotionally mature people, women-wise, I would say are Trinity, Kata, maybe. Yeah, I feel like Melanie's in touch with her feelings, but as soon as she's around a guy, like, it goes out the window. But that's a different story for a different day. I still love Melanie. This season reminded me that emotional maturity is one of the most underrated qualities in dating. Like, can someone apologize? Can they take accountability? Can they regulate their emotions? Can they communicate without yelling or calling people out of their name, disappearing or shutting down? Because looks are going to fade. That charm that guy has is going to fade. The excitement is going to change all the time. That character is what's going to remain. Okay? And if I have to choose between someone who is charming and someone who is emotionally mature, I'm choosing emotionally emotional maturity every single time. Another lesson that I learned is being chosen isn't the goal at all. You saw how desperate Casey wanted to be chosen, but why was that your goal? Wouldn't it be to be cared for? You were finally chosen in Casa, but at that point you can kind of see that he doesn't like that he was chosen, if that makes sense, right? And I think Anaya not being chosen by Casey was a blessing in disguise, but she wanted to be chosen, and it pushed off her finding a real guy like Carl. But this lesson is my favorite because so many people enter the villa wanting someone to pick them, and honestly, that's how many of us date in real life. We spend